Well, I worked on the 3D printed tank. We were trying to make an RC tank. I mean, it was like 2 feet by 1 feet. It's a big thing, so I helped them work on that. I actually built the aluminum chassis of it. We got like a little kit to build a smaller robot, so we got that. We got some more parts, and essentially I was the one who put together the skeleton of this tank that we were going to mount all the 3D printed parts onto. I also worked on the mortar project where I did both the base plate design and the bipod design, partially, so that we could, actually have the mortar be able to have a solid foundation to be able to both change the altitude, but also so it just wouldn't fall over when we fired it.
So here at the AddLab, I found that I was focused on embedded computing as well as additive manufacturing. So with the technologies, I was looking at 3D printing as well as Arduino boards and Raspberry Pis, and then also Windows computers and Linux machines. So there was a very wide variety of what I was working with.
For our mortar tube project, we work with Picatinny Arsenal. They gave us one of their projects to make a mortar tube using 3D printing.
I basically modeled like the trigger mechanism that we're going to be using for the mortar. It's basically just like a rack and pin, and you just pull the lever and then it like shoots into the recess in the back of the ground. And then for the tank, first we built like a base for the tank, I guess you could call it like an exoskeleton kind of.
Yeah, there's a lot of time spent designing the mechanisms in it. So the tank, it can shoot, it can drive, and it can stream video.
Well, I mean, it's just that. We said we were going to make a mortar. We said we were going to make a tank, and we've come out with pieces that would just awe people. The mortar, as of right now, works. It realistically works using the rounds that we have. It'll fire the way it's supposed to. And that's something that you would never expect from a bunch of plastic that you kind of just printed out. The products using the machines that we have are to the utmost quality. Something that you could realistically put out there and people in the public would want them. I would want them. Actually, I think the way that Sam and even Dr. Federici supervised us was great. I mean, Sam was always there if we needed to ask him anything. How the printers work, what temperature do we print at, hey, can you let us into the lab? Hey, can you give us your opinion on whatever we're doing? But he also trusted us to be able to set up these prints, do these things on our own. He's actually pushed us to, just because you don't know how to do something, don't immediately just ask him, ask your coworkers, look it up, figure out how to do it on your own. But if you need some help with something, he was always there. And then Dr. Federici too, I mean, he's always there, giving us projects that we should do, and just giving us his input as someone who's done this way more than we have.
Well, here at the AddLab, so I feel like I did have a lot of leeway in terms of how I went about my work, what approaches I took, but also to an extent, it is a little strict, just like any other job. It's not necessarily like they're watching over you every minute, but there are reports that need to get done, there's presentations that need to be made, and there are projects that need to be completed by certain time frames. So I think within that, it's just pretty much like any other job.
You have like a lot of freedom here, I think, and like if you have like an idea, even if it doesn't work, you can always just do it, and then you can build off of that and keep going, make it better than before. I think it's really cool how you can see like all the technology we have here, not even just the 3D printers, but like lasers and all that kind of stuff. If you haven't been like exposed to it, it's really cool to check out for the first time.
I was really interested in this. I thought it was a great way to take what I was learning in the classroom, especially since I just took some classes in C++, and apply it to the projects they were working on.
Skills I learned will be very applicable in the future. Yeah, it was great being able to use the equipment, as well as being able to work with a group of people that work very well together.
I would have never thought, hey, 3D printing is not just a hobby, not just something that people are doing because it's fun and it's science, it's a job, it's an industry, or it's a growing industry.
I just thought that this was a really good experience for me. I learned a lot, and there's a lot of skills that I learned here that'll help me in my future and It was definitely like a really cool thing. Like I don't even consider. I mean, it's work, but it doesn't really like feel like work because I'm like having fun while I do it. So, and it's like something I want to pursue like in the future. So, I think it's really cool.
We don't just have engineers, we don't just have physicists. We have some of both, but then we also have an industrial designer. We had a biochemist last year. And by having a diverse background of intellectual interests, we generate interesting new ideas that simply one discipline wouldn't come up with on their own.
I think just working with the people and the machines is definitely the best part. It's an opportunity you don't find elsewhere. Very few places will let you get anywhere near a 3D printer, let alone work with a bunch of people who are in different disciplines so that you could make something crazy like a mortar or a tank. So I thought it was really great to not only just see the technology, but be able to interact with it. Be trusted to set up prints, print them out, take them off the bed, put them together and use them.
What makes the AddLab so great is that we offer opportunities for students to get involved, to start working on technology for tomorrow, essentially. Now that everybody's getting into 3D printing, it's an expanding field, essentially, that is allowing us to manufacture things like never before. Anyone in their own home can build their own devices that normally would have had to be produced at a factory. So the AddLab allows students to get into that.
To be perfectly frank, we have a lot of fun.
Today we're going to be flying drones and testing the mortar tube for the AddLab in Picatinny.
As well as providing these educational opportunities where in the future you'll be better prepared to go get a job. We'll provide you with contacts, particularly if you're interested in working for the Army in a research capacity. We certainly know people there.
I think the future of additive manufacturing is basically where people go online or they go to a company, they request the product, and instead of having to wait for it to be shipped to you or having it be produced somewhere else, you can just build it in your own home. And then if something breaks, you can just reproduce the product over and over again, as much as you need. So I would tell a student who's interested in applying to the AddLab that it's a great experience. It definitely adds to your work experience. It gives you the opportunity to look into how the field is changing, and also, especially for software engineering students, it allows you to apply directly what you're learning in the classroom to the projects that you'll be working on at the AddLab.
It's one thing to be like, oh cool, I made this 3D model on CAD or whatever. It would, a 3D modeling software. But it's another thing to see it and then print it and then hold it in your hands, look at it at all the angles and be like, this is something I just made. Something that came from my head and now it's here, physical. When I applied for this, I was a freshman. Most colleges that I've looked at when I was trying to apply and figure out where I wanted to go, they were always just like, research is for the grad students, or if you're a junior or a senior. Most places just don't let you walk in, show you how to use the machines, and just say, go. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. So that's just something that it's hard to find elsewhere. If you're gonna pick somewhere to place your time, I would say place it in here, in an environment where you can do so much and you're supported. You're actually encouraged to do as many things as you can. You're pushed as much as you need to be pushed so you can do things you never thought you could do, and you're also surrounded by people who can help you do those things.